Hey guys, I'm back again and I'm here to do a mega book haul. Okay, so excuse the cough. This is intraseasonal coughing. Anyway, I have a big book haul here because I have books that I have been acquiring over quite a few months, pretty much since the month of August. And then not only that, I have a bunch of books that I picked up when I was at the Festival America at the end of September. And so, yeah, I have those as well. So get your coffee, get your tea, get your pads, open up your Goodreads or whatever, however you keep track of what you think you might want to read. Here it is, guys. This is the book haul. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with the things that I got when I was at Festival America. So Festival America was really, really good. And I could have brought my car and just threw all the books in the trunk that I had here at home that I wanted to get signed. That was not possible, okay? This area, this town, it's not so easy to so-called park for a long period of time. That's what I would have needed to do because I brought a fairly good amount of books, half a suitcase, small suitcase, to get signed. But then when I was there, I learned about new authors, and you know how it is. You know how it is when you go to these book festivals. So anyway, let's get started with the Festival America one. So as you know, at Festival America, the big literary star was Colson Whitehead. So love me some Colson Whitehead. Got all of my Colson Whitehead books signed. Then while I was there, realized there were two others I hadn't heard of. So I had to pick them up. So first one is Apex Hides the Hurt. I'm not really sure where this is in his list. Wait, let's see. I don't know where this fits in his list, his backlist. But I had never heard of this one. And this is, a fairly short one, and he was nice enough to sign it for me. It says, the town of Winthrop has decided it needs a new name. The resident software millionaire wants to call it New Prospera. The mayor wants to return to the original choice of the founding Black settlers, and the town's aristocracy sees no reason to change the name at all. What they need, they realize, is a nomenclature consultant. And it turns out the consultant needs them. But in a culture overwhelmed by marketing, the name is everything, and our heroes' efforts may result in not just a new name for the town, but a new and subtle truth about it as well. So that's one I had not heard of. Comment below and tell me if you've heard of this one, because I was like, don't know it, but I'm interested. And the other one is called The Noble Hustle. From this cover, it kind of looks like we're doing something with gambling. I don't know. So it says, when Grantland Magazine gave best-selling novelist Colson Whitehead $10,000 to play at the World Series of Poker in Las Vegas, he knew it was the assignment of a lifetime. There was only one hitch. He'd never played in a casino tournament before. With just 6 weeks to train, our humble narrator took a Greyhound to Atlantic City to learn the ways of high-stakes Texas Hold'em. Yeah. Yeah, I want this one. So it's called The Noble Hustle, Poker, Beef Jerky, and Death. So these two I picked up there and got signed. Next one that I'm really excited about is this one. It's called We Are Haunting by Tyrek White. He also was a very kind, very, very kind to sign the book. And we had a nice little chat. Tyrek White, here he is right here. He's a young author, and this is his debut. It's gotten good blurbs from Garth Greenwell, Kiese Lehman, and Jacqueline Woodson. So it says, in 1980s Brooklyn, Key is enchanted with her world, glowing with her dreams, a charming and tender doula serving the Black women of her East New York neighborhood. She lives like her mother among the departed and learns to speak to and for them. Her untimely death leaves behind her mother, Audrey, who is on the verge of losing the public housing apartment they once shared. Collie, Key's grieving son, soon learns that he too has inherited this gift, this sacred gift, and begins to slip into the liminal space between the living and the dead on his journey to self-realization. Okay, this one I think is going to be a challenging read, but I think it's going to be worthwhile. New Black voice coming to the literary world, and I can't wait for it. Okay, the next book I picked up was this one. It's called Monkey Boy by Francisco Goldman. Now, Francisco Goldman is somebody I hadn't heard of him before, but apparently written quite a lot of books, and he has like double nationality. I have to look up exactly which ones they are, but I hadn't heard of him before. And the title of this book captured me, and then when I read the back, I was also captured. So it says, in Monkey Boy, Francisco Goldman's brilliantly constructed autofiction, we meet Francisco Goldberg, a middle-aged writer grappling with the challenges of family and love, legacies of violence and war, and growing up as the son of immigrants, a Guatemalan Catholic mother and a Russian Jewish father, in a predominantly white working-class Boston suburb, told in irresistibly funny, tender, and passionate voice. The extraordinary portrait of a family explores the pressures of living between worlds. So this is him right here. I think you can see him really close. Yeah, that's him right here. He was very interesting, talking about memories when I waited in line to get my book signed. So the woman that was in front of me was talking to him, and they got onto this subject of memories. And before you knew it, it was that lady, me, and the two people behind me. We were all in this discussion together about memories. Fascinating. Seems like a very interesting writer, and I'm intrigued about this book. And yeah, so Monkey Boy. And he did sign it. He was very nice, when he signed. And I love it when they cross out their name, because that's really how they're supposed to do it. Love that. Anyway, next person on my list is the famous Gary Victor. Gary Victor. So this is one series of Gary Victor. It's like a detective series. He is a Haitian writer, and this is his detective series. And unfortunately, none of his books have been translated into English. Sadly. So I will be trying to get to these 3. I think there's only 3 in this series. I'm not sure if it's 3 or 4, but these were the 3 that I saw and picked up while I was there. One is called Sorrow. The other one is called Saison de Peur. And this one is Cure et Châtiment. So I will definitely be trying to get to this one because I'm interested to learn all about this new author, Gary Victor. He was also very nice, and he also signed all of his books very kindly. Yeah, really, really, really nice. All right. And then I learned about this author. Okay, so this book is called I Will Greet the Sun Again. It was translated into French as American Boys, which I'm not particularly a fan of that title. Doesn't seem like it goes with what the book is about. This was a signed copy already. It was like, it's signed like this. It was already pre-signed with the stamp from Shakespeare & Co. But I wanted to meet him and talk to him because I had seen him in a talk. And so I said, I don't care if you sign it. Can you sign it again? And he signed it again for me. And we had a nice chat about, the title of this book and why I was like, ooh, this title was giving me all kind of weirdness, but nothing like what I think the book is going to be about. And he kind of said, like, he kind of agreed that the title was not really what he was, thinking that it should have been translated into. But this one is interesting. So it says, three young brothers leave Los Angeles in the dead of night for Iran, taken by their father from their mother to a country and an ancestral home they barely recognize. They return to the valley months later, spit back into American life, and changed in inexorable ways. Under the dazzling light of the California sun, our protagonist, the youngest brother, begins to piece together a childhood shattered by his father's violence, a queer adolescence marked by a shy, secret love affair with a boy he meets on the basketball court, and his ever-changing status as a Muslim in America at the turn of the new millennium. So this guy is American, but he has Iranian background. And I saw him in two talks. One that was called Queer Stories, which was really, really good because it basically, you had four different men in that particular talk that were all queer and were writing queer stories. And so it got us into seeing the similarities and differences of these four writers. And then he was in another talk, which kind of focused on this idea of being different and being young, and how that being different can other you and make you feel not part of any group, that even groups that of people that look like you. Really, really interesting talk. So that made me run out. As soon as I got out of the second talk, I just ran out and bought this book. So I can't wait to get to this one. It's a short one with a very beautiful title, I Will Greet the Sun Again, which is apparently a line from an Iranian poem, I think is what he told me. So there's that. Now, that's all the new things that I got from the Festival America, and it was sort of like a birthday thing for me, because it was very close to my birthday. Now let's get to the other part of this video. Okay, so I picked up Colored Television by Danzy Senna. This is the UK version. Danzy Senna, I believe, is married to Percival Everett. And here she is right here. Yeah, she's right there. This one, it says, Jane has high hopes that her life is about to turn around. After a long, precarious stretch bouncing among sketchy rentals and sublets, she and her family are living in luxury for a year, house sitting in the hills above Los Angeles. The gig magically coincides with Jane's sabbatical, giving her the time and space she needs to finish her second novel. A century-spanning epic, her artist husband, Lenny, dubs her Mulatto War and Peace. Finally, some semblance of stability and success seems to be within her grasp, but things don't work out quite as hoped. Desperate for a plan B, like countless writers before Jane turns her gaze to Hollywood. Okay, so this is going to be a really interesting one, talking about, what it is to be a screenwriter and to be Black doing that. And yeah, I think this is going to be really good. All right, the next one I got, now this one I got off of a serious whim, because it's a book that I have seen around since it came out. Let's see, when did this book come out? Because before I say anything, let me look and see, because I always have this wrong. Okay, so this book came out in 2024, earlier this year. But the moment it came out, I kept seeing it literally everywhere. And everybody that, had read it said, oh my God, this book was so good. I started reading it. I didn't know what it was going to be like. And all of a sudden, I was just completely, engulfed, and I couldn't stop reading it. Really, really good. Okay, so after hearing so many people talk about how good this book was, I said, okay, let me break down and get it and see. And it's The Women by Christian Hannah. Now, like I said, I've been hearing about Christian Hannah for a long time, but have not read any of her books. So this is the one I've decided to embark on, is The Women. So I don't really think I need to read it to y'all because I know y'all have seen it everywhere and all that. But get a load of this beautiful cover with the gold, and like, look at that gold. That gold be chipping off and stuff, but it's beautiful. And then look at the inside, you know, and then look, the gold. Yeah, all right. So anyway, this is a story about women in Vietnam. So during the Vietnam War. So I can't wait to get to this one. It's a bit of a chunker. I was hoping I could read it before the end of the year, but I don't think that's going to happen. I might have to start the year with this one because it is quite the chunker. It's coming in at like 470 pages or something. So yeah, it's not particularly short, this one, but I'm very excited to read this one. Okay, next book I have on my list is this one right here, which I hope to get to this year because it's going to fulfill 2 reading prompts if I can get this one read. And it's the Yacubian Building by Allah al-Aswani. Allah al-Aswani. This is an Egyptian writer. It says, all manner of flawed and fragile humanity reside in the Yacubian Building, a once elegant temple of Art Deco splendor now slowly decaying in the smog and bustle of downtown Cairo. A fading aristocrat and self-proclaimed scientist of women, a sultry, voluptuous siren, a devout young student, feeling the irresistible pull toward fundamentalism, a newspaper editor helplessly in love with a policeman, a corrupt and corpulent politician, twisting the Quran to justify his desires. These disparate lives careen toward an explosive conclusion in Allah al-Aswani's remarkable international bestseller. Teeming with frank sexuality and heartfelt compassion, this book is an important window onto the experience of loss and love in the Arab world. So this one I'm really anxious to get to because I've been wanting to read a more modern Egypt in a novel. Yeah, this is a country that I know pretty good because I lived there for 3.5 years. And for me, when I think of Egyptian literature, the first person I go to is Naguib Mahfouz. But I'm going to need to read somebody else other than Naguib Mahfouz, although I love Naguib Mahfouz. We'll always love Naguib Mahfouz. We'll always read Naguib Mahfouz, but we need to read, I want to read something more modern. And so I think this one is going to be the one. So this one, hopefully I will get to before the end of the year so I can cross off those 2 challenges. Okay, the next one I picked up is this one, and I picked this one up after seeing it at the Festival America and after seeing this particular writer at the Festival America, but I could not buy the book because I didn't have no room to bring no more books back, like no more room. It's called Reservoir Bitches, and it's by Dalia de la Cerda. I think that's how it's supposed to be pronounced. Correct me if I'm wrong. So this is linked stories. 13 Mexican women prod the bitch that is life as they fight, sew, skirt, cheats, cry, and lie their way through their tangled circumstances. From the all-powerful daughter of a cartel boss to the victim of transfemicide, from a house full of spinster seamstresses to a socialite who supports her politician husband by faking indigenous roots. These women spit on their own reduction and invent new ways to survive, telling their stories in bold, unapologetic voices. At once social critique and Black comedy, Reservoir Bitches is a raucous debut from one of Mexico's most thrilling new writers. This is another one that's going to hit one of my reading goal challenges, is Reservoir Bitches. So I heard her in a talk alongside Donnie Walton and what's her name? What is her name? Alongside the one who wrote The Future and The Power. And they were talking about, you know, feminism, and it was pretty radical up in there, but it was really good. So this is definitely going to be on my list. Next three on my list are these three right here: A Rising Man, Smoke and Ashes, and A Necessary Evil. Now, these three are the beginning of a mystery detective series by an Indian origin writer. The author is Abir Makuerji. And I'm really interested in reading this. So one of the ladies from my book club, who's Scottish, told us about this one. And so I immediately had to go out and get that one, because like if I can get a good, you know, mystery series, you know, I'll sink my teeth in. Even if I can't get through it as fast as I want to, I will definitely sink my teeth in. This one, it has a strong theme around colonialism because it's at that period. So I can't wait to get to this one. I think it's going to be really, really good. Next book on my list is this one right here, The Message by Ta-Nehisi Coates. This is his newest nonfiction. It just came out. I think it was a week ago it came out. Yeah, I mean, come on now. Y'all, I don't need to tell y'all about this one. Y'all ain't heard about it. Get on it. All right. Next on my list is this one right here, Guide Me Home by Attica Locke, which is the third book in the Highway 59 series, the end of the trilogy. Looking forward to this one because she left us in a lurch on that book too. And I was just like, what's happening next? So this one I hope to get to before the end of the year for sure, because I really need to I need to get closure on this story and his crazy mama. All right. Next book on my list is this one right here, Among Flowers, A Walk in the Himalaya by Jamaica Kincaid. And this is a nonfiction about Jamaica Kincaid's walk through the Himalaya. When I saw this one, I said, oh yeah, I got to get this one. I have to hear what she got to say about walking this bridge right here, honey. I got to see what old girl got to say about walking that bridge right there. So this one is fairly short, very beautiful book though. It's not even 200 pages, this book. This book is 189 pages. Wait to sink my teeth into this one. Who knows, maybe in November, for Nonfiction November, this would be really nice. Okay, another one from Nonfiction November is this one, The Swan of Harlem by Karen Valby. 50 years of sisterhood, 5 Black ballerinas, one incredible story. Now, you guys know how much I love. If you just arrived and you don't really know me that well, there's some things I really love, and one of them is ballet. I love ballet. I did ballet when I was a kid all the way through middle school and high school. I love ballet. But particularly, I have the thing for Black ballerinas, because when I did ballet back in the day, Black ballerina was not a thing. You know, it was an oddity, you know, kind of thing. So I finally got my hands on this one, and I can't wait. All from the Dance Theater of Harlem. And this should be a fantastic, you know, story. There's some great pictures in here. I can't wait. This is going to be a good one. Next, I have 2 books that are graphic novels. Now, these graphic novels are in French, and I don't know when they're going to be out in English. I think one of them is out in English, but I'm not sure. And that's this one right here, which is the Madeleine Resistant series. It's called Tomato Noodles. And this is the 3rd volume in the series. And this is about a woman who's called Madeleine, who is like early 20s. So she's like maybe 18. She becomes a part of the resistance. So we're following her through this story. Now, this is a real story. because the real Madeleine is telling the story to this graphic novelist who is putting this down in this beautiful, beautiful drawings and beautifully told. Absolutely. And the story is absolutely amazing. So if you can get this series in English, I highly recommend it. It's so, so good. So this one is the third one, and it just came out a couple of weeks ago. The next one that's graphic novel, now this one definitely is not out in English, but I'm sure it will be eventually. So you know how I love the series, graphic novel series, The Arab of the Future, one of my top fave graphic novels, written by Riyad Sattouf. So it's written and drawn by Riyad Sattouf. So now Riyad Sattouf is doing, it's like Arab of the Future, but from his brother's point of view. It's called Moi Fadi, le frère volé. And as you see, this is volume 1. And it corresponds to the years 1986 to 1994, which I think are the same years that it corresponds to the Arab of the Future, the first volume. So it's going to be about the baby brother, Fadi. I cannot wait to read this. Like, I'm just like, should I read the first one of Arab of the Future again, like for the third time? But should I read it again before reading the volume 1 of this one? I'm not sure. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start reading this one and see if I really need to read the first, because it's been a long time since I've read the first one. I read it maybe 2 or 3 times, but a couple years ago. So this should be very interesting. Sattouf, what he does is he writes about his life, and he writes about his family, and he writes about things that have happened to them. And he does it in a very loving and humoristic way. And it's in a way that it just speaks universally to so many different people in so many different countries, color, race, whatever you are. His storytelling is going to appeal to you. This is a new one. I'll let you know how it is, and I'll let you know when it comes out in English. All right, now, the next one I have is this one right here, Afterlives by Abdulrazak Gurnah, who is a writer that, I mean, is so well known. The Nobel Prize not so long ago for literature, and this is one book that I have wanted to pick up for a while now. So this one, it says, when he was just a boy, Ilyas was stolen from his parents on the coast of East Africa by German colonial troops. After years away fighting against his own people, he returns home to find his parents gone and his sister Afia abandoned into the de facto slavery. Hamza, too, returns home from the war, scarred in body and soul and with nothing but the clothes on his back, until he meets the beautiful, undaunted Afia. As these young people live and work and fall in love, their fates knotted ever more tightly together. The shadow of a new war on another continent falls over them, threatening once again to carry them away. This is going to be probably very poignant, and it's probably going to, like get me super sad and super mad. But I know it's going to be beautifully written. So yeah, Afterlives. And last but not least, I have The Deluge. Now, this is by Stephen Markley. I learned about this book at the Festival America, and I learned about it from someone else that I met there. We were both looking at books at the same time, and I recommended him a book, and then he recommended me this book. He said, don't be put off by the fact that it's like 900 pages. It's so, so good, and it has this ecological theme about it. So I said, okay. So I took the book. It's pretty floppy, I opened it up because I was like, 900 pages in paperback. That sounds like a disaster waiting to happen. But when I opened it up, I noticed that the print was quite large. It was like a normal size book. So I said, okay. And then I kind of was like, I turned around and I started reading it. And I thought, wow, this sounds really different, but sounds really interesting, because of the period that we're going through. So unfortunately, I could not buy this at the festival and get it signed because it was too damn big and that would not fit in my suitcase, sadly. But I did get a chance to speak with him, with Stephen Markley, and he was a very interesting person to talk to. So this is what The Deluge is about, because I don't think I've seen this book anywhere online, like not in the booktube community. The people that I follow, I haven't seen anyone talk about it, and I haven't seen it even on Instagram. So this is what it says. In the first decades of the 21st century, the world is convulsing, its governments mired in gridlock, while a patient but unrelenting ecological crisis looms. America is in upheaval, battered by violent weather and extreme politics. In California in 2013, Tony Petrus, a scientist studying deposits of undersea methane, receives a death threat. His fate will become bound to a stunning cast of characters: a broken drug addict, a star advertising strategist, a neurodivergent mathematician, a cunning eco-terrorist, an actor turned religious zealot, and a brazen young activist named Kate Morris, who, in the mountains of Wyoming, begins a project that will alter the course of the decades to come. From the Gulf Coast to Los Angeles, the Midwest to Washington, D.C., their intertwined odysseys unfold against a stark backdrop of accelerating chaos, and as their stories hurtle toward a spectacular climax, each faces a reckoning. What will they sacrifice to salvage humanity's last chance at a future? The Deluge. So that's it. This is definitely one that will be a 2025 read. I'm really excited because I'm intrigued, and I feel like this book is going to maybe teach me some things and make me think about things. So yeah, excited about this one. So that is it. That is all the books. Those are all the books. Those are all of the books. I don't really think there'll be anything else coming that I will be purchasing anytime for the rest of the year, because this is it. I'm going to have to figure out what I can read before the end of the year. I told you the things that I really want to, because they're going to fit some of my reading challenges, but I don't foresee buying any, books for the rest of the year. If somebody buys me a book, now that's something different, okay? But I won't be personally buying anything. So that's it. Let me know what you think of these. Is there anything in here that, you're interested in? Or is there anything that you read and you absolutely didn't like or that you loved? Comment below and let me know. I'm always curious, what you guys are reading and what you think about the things that I show. So I will look forward to our next video, and I wish you a great day, lots of great reading, and I'll see you next time. Bye.